Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to replace the wick in this automatic version of the CYGNUS roller petrol lighter. You can see that is marked there on the base. Automat CYGNUS with the patent number. The mechanism works just fine. Put pressure on the file roller and the lid comes up. But the original wick has bloomed out quite a bit, and you can see how it is getting smashed underneath that snuffer, and it is causing some problems with the snuffer staying down in position where it should. In other words, staying closed. So got that locked into place there finally. Okay, so we are going to remove the fuel screw, which the hole in this automatic version looks a little bit smaller than some of the other CYGNUS that I have dealt with. We will take our tweezers and start removing the wadding. This is a double-edged sword here. This lighter appears to be brand new. So typically that would mean a lighter that's not going to get lit, not going to be ignited or filled with fuel or anything like that, or even struck against a flint. But because this lighter is part of my personal collection and the only automatic version of the CYGNUS petrol lighter that I currently have, it is hard for me to imagine not putting this lighter to use. So it appears as though the wadding all came out in one strand, so we can just reuse that. Get our tweezers, grab a hold of this wick. Wick looks pretty clean, and we will place that in this little Ziploc baggie to preserve it. If I end up lighting things up off of this lighter, I'm not necessarily going to want to use this old wick that was in it, because I think there is a good possibility that that wick contains asbestos. That is another reason why I didn't want to just trim it up, get it out of the way, so that that snuffer would fit down on top of it. So that is why we are going to take one of the smaller of David 2052's wicks. That is the username for the gentleman in the United Kingdom who sells these wicks on eBay. Right up here in the corner, if you have not seen me tie one of these lassos around a wick like this, we'll put the video instructing you how to do that. So first and foremost, since we have removed the wick and all the wadding, we will just feed this wire straight down the wick chimney. Pull the terminal end here to pull it down through there in a straight manner. We may have to line this up as we go. And we may also need to take the end of this wire and wrap it around something so we don't end up cutting our fingers. So pull that firmly. Slides right in. We can get our pliers out of the way here. Pair of scissors. And cut the end off of that so that we are not dragging the wire up in there. That should put us at the exact height we would need, as the snuffer is closing all the way there and none of the wick is in the way. Does appear to be something else getting in the way of it closing occasionally, but I think that may be my fingers putting pressure on that file roller unintentionally. Well, there it is closed. Now we can take our wadding, feed it back down into the body of the lighter. Feed the wick down there with it as we go. So now that we've got that wick so far down in there, we might want to keep a hold of it a little bit here on the end while we take a pick and fit the rest of that wadding down that fuel hole. Now we can just curl the rest of this wick right up in there. So now we have this lighter re-wicked and re-wadded. Grab our bottle of Roncinol and fuel this lighter up. Try not to overfill it, but of course it looks like we have, as there is fuel just sitting there in that hole. So we will shake that out off the screen here. So now we will get our fuel screw back in place. Tighten all the way down. Got the excess fuel wiped from the lighter. This is an advertising lighter. And most importantly, an automatic lighter. So Well, I was about to forget. I was about to try to strike it up, which wouldn't have done any good. Let's remove our Flint spring assembly. Drop our Flint down the tube. And here I am turning that the wrong direction. Feed our Flint spring assembly back up in there. And let's just see how this automatic lighter works. So perhaps because of the grooving of the flint, it did not strike up the first time, but it did the second time. And that time was much better. Until next time.